Hello, this is TechMan88, and I have here a really fast concrete converter. It's designed to use Tweakaroo, where you can place blocks really fast. So you would sit down here, and I'll show it later, but you would place blocks in here. And yeah, I can do it right now, even though I have them auto-filling. Like up here, this is a 1.13 TNT duper, and a stabilizer, so like it'll put the TNT through the water stream to minimize its velocity and give it some time to somewhat explode. And this has been pretty consistent as far as I can tell. So this does the trick where it synchronizes the piston push with the TNT explosion to get the 100% drop rate that you need in like 1.13 or lower. So it actually uses two separate clocks. There's a 3 redstone tick clock down here. Then up here there's another clock on 9 redstone ticks. So 9 is divisible by 3. So that means that there'll always be a piston push at the same time the TNT explodes. And I had to do some work to actually make sure those are synchronized. Yeah, just by like putting a 3 game tick delay here and also having the piston push up the slime. That seems to get the right amount. But you might need to tweak that if you change the design a little bit. Just a fair warning, but 1 out of the 3 will work. So now I've hooked it up to these dispensers, which are just going to dispense the items. You actually need all these hoppers here to keep up with the demand. This is as fast as about 6 hoppers, but I just made it like that, and the items are all in these chests up here. And of course you could set up it in many different ways, but I just want to show this working. So just to prove that this is I'm actually placing all the blocks here. You can just watch that my item count in my hotbar doesn't go up. And you might be able to hear it in the background, the block placement. So it's very fast. And of course this is on a single player world, on a personal server. I have no idea what this would be like on a server, but it might not go this smoothly. Now I'll explain some of the considerations with the blast chamber. So one thing is the TNT is exploding a little bit higher. There are 2 reasons for that. One is that so it doesn't destroy any items down here in the water stream. You have to be really careful about that. It's about 7 blocks where it can destroy items, and you just want to be on the safe side. And there's a second reason. There's actually a blast attenuation. Even though these blocks have blast resistance, there's some attenuation that even if it's traveling through a block 36 block, as people call them, it's still going to lessen the explosion a little bit. So I'll just replace all these chests, and I'll show you a cool feature about Tweakaroo. So with the fast block placement, you can actually place all these chests at once. And then just go along here, place these. That's really nice in 1.13. One of the best features of that version. And I might have mentioned this earlier, but you actually need 6 hoppers. So I calculated the rates over here. It's 13.33 items per second, and that amounts to like I think 5.13 hoppers that you need to keep up with that rate. So yeah, don't skip out on the hoppers. So this over here is my attempt at a Shulker unloader that can also keep up with the amount of items that this needs, and it looks like a mess. And this is just a really work in progress, but it uses 2 hopper minecarts here they both can actually suck items out of the shulker box, and that's gonna then the hoppers down here, they can pull them all out, and that's a challenge in itself to actually get the hopper minecarts here. I'll show that later. So over here I've just got a shulker with a stack of 64 items, and I'm just gonna put a couple stacks over here in this chest. So then I can come put that up here. Gonna suck the items out, and yeah, it sucks them out really fast, and you can't open the shulker when you're doing this, but that's okay. So that's gonna evenly distribute them among all of these droppers over here, or mostly evenly. It's pretty hard to actually get this right, and this is actually the right rate. And the challenge of doing this part was that this needs to dispense items every 9 game ticks, which is not really that easy to do with redstone. So instead of doing a 9 game tick clock, I have a clock over here which alternates between 8 game ticks and 10 game ticks, so that averages out to 9 game ticks. And you can see over here, I've just got these repeaters just to show it. So if I just press escape at the right moment, you can see what it's doing. So there's 4 off right here, then 5 on, and you can see this is just an observer reading off that. So it's 4 game ticks, then 5 game ticks, 4 game ticks, 5 game ticks, etc. And the math just works out so that that's exactly the rate that you would need. So to actually set up the minecarts in this area, you need actually 2 minecarts in it. So I'll show you how right now, because this can be a challenge. So you'd place 2 minecarts right here on this rail, and then what you would do is you would push this in with a trapdoor in front, like that. Oops, I should have removed the rail, that doesn't really matter. So I can put that back, and then just retract this. And then this is the somewhat tricky part. You have to get in here, and you have to actually push these so that the minecarts get trapped on this section of the wall here. So I just slowly move myself up there and just kind of move them around until they separate. So yeah, that's the way that you want them. And now if I place a chest above them, this will just represent the shulker box. So now if I put some items in there, they come out really fast, and they should all evenly distribute among these droppers down here, or roughly evenly distribute. So I spent some time putting this better shulker unloader down into this version, and I can demonstrate that real quick. So I'll just put one shulker box in here with items, and yeah, that's going to automatically unload into there. Then I can turn it on. And if you're really observant, you can hear that these are not really synchronized. These are at a slightly different clock than these up here. And that's just what I needed to get the rate exactly the same as what you're using in this system, which I think is nice. I mean, there's a way to use like a pressure plate, but I thought it would be nicer to have them exactly synchronized, and that was a nice challenge as well. But down here, this is a more simplified clock, the clock that alternates between 8 game ticks and 10 game ticks. And I also made it a little bit more robust by adding this repeater here on 2 ticks. And it's basically the same design. The items get shot down into here and then brought up to the player. And I thought it would be nicer to have it this way rather than put the big bulky thing on top. I think this will look better when you build it in Minecraft. Alright, so the way you would use this machine is you'd have some shulker boxes full of concrete powder. I'll just take a couple from here, and then you put them in this chest down here, and they'll get sucked in and dispensed when I turn this on. So then you turn that on, and the items will come up to you here. So then you just start placing here. That sometimes happens when you're starting out. So yeah, if you just watch this for a while, you should be able to see that my number of items doesn't go up. So the droppers down there are perfectly synchronized with the clocks, so I get exactly the number of items that I need. And I've tested this for like 10 or 20 minutes or something like that, and I haven't seen an increase in the number of items, and I seem to be placing every single block. But this is of course a single player world, just normally. And the MSBT is not too bad. I think it's about 5 or 6 for this farm. But that depends on your machine, and I think most of the lag is just the entities. There's some entities that are floating up to me, and then some that are falling into the collection area. But I'll stop doing that because that's not very interesting to look at. So this isn't really the simplest device, but this is all about speed, and you want to convert the concrete as fast as you can. I think, and this is really good for it because you can load it up with shulkers and just get dispense the number of items exactly. And also, if you plan to build one of these, you can just load the structure block, and it's going to set it up so that you can build it without triggering the TNT. So the first time this is going to push over and activate the TNT duper. So yeah, I'll just hit that button. Now it's just going to start duping TNT. I also have a challenge for the viewers. It's to make the fastest concrete converter possible. Kind of like this, maybe. This is just an idea that I had. It might not be a good idea. But yeah, actually I have a better idea in mind than this, but I just wanted to show one concept. Just to move the player along somehow and convert all the concrete at the beginning and then send it into a blast chamber somehow. But yeah, I have a better idea than this, which I might try at some point. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so thank you for watching and goodbye.